Hey there, third graders. Week 3, day 4. Today, this is your reading mini lesson. We're going to be working on sequence of events. And for sequence of events, as you guys know, we are talking about the order of events, the way things happened and when they happened. For your practice today, you're going to be using your sequential words. So you're going to use words like first, then, next, last, finally, after that, later on, eventually, during, as soon as, meanwhile, before, after. These are just some examples. You don't have to just use those. If you have one that you think is more powerful, please use that as well. The directions are pretty simple. You're going to answer the question and write it down in a complete sentence down below. So it says on page 274. Oh, wait a minute. That means I'm going to have to pull up Think Central, right? So go ahead and pull up Think Central. I'll pause the video and pull up Think Central and make sure that you are ready before you move on. Okay, so on our first question here, it says, how many days did Tamika write her letter before Uncle Ray wrote his? So if you're looking on page 274, it will look like this. And on page 274, if we look here, we know she wrote hers on May 10th in Red Crest, California. And then Uncle Ray wrote his on May 7th. So if we wanted to know the difference between May 10th and May 7th, some of you are already shouting at the screen. Yeah, it took 1 week. It took 7 days. So when I look here, it says, how many days did Tamika write her letter before Uncle Ray wrote his? So I would say, Tamika, I want to rewrite this. So I'd say Tamika, instead of saying write her letter, I would say, what's the past tense for write? That's correct, wrote. So I'd say Tamika wrote her letter how many days? That's right, 7 days. So I'd say Tamika wrote her letter 7 days before Uncle Ray wrote his. And that's what this answer should look like. So Tamika wrote her letter. And then for 7, you can just write actually, instead of writing the number 7, I'm just going to have you write it out. S-E-V-E-N, 7 days before Uncle Ray. And I'm checking to make sure I spell Uncle Ray correctly. Wrote his. Now, if I want to get more specific, I could say his letter, but this works too. And then I'll put a period at the end. Great. So on the next one, we'll do the same thing on page 279. Who was the first person to pick up Oliver K. Woodman? So on that page, when I look there, I would say the first person to pick up Oliver K. Woodman was blank. And then you will go through the rest of these sentences and answer each one in a complete sentence. Make sure you're checking that punctuation and spelling. Now, boys and girls, on this 7, I want to point something out really quick. Do you see how I crossed it out like that? That's because I'm using pen. But I know that you will be using pencil, so you can erase that and make sure it looks great. Awesome. Okay. Once you're done with this page here, I'll have you get started on that. On the second part of our lesson today, it's going to be put the events in order. So for this one, it's pretty easy. The directions are here. It just says to rewrite the 3 events in order according to how they happened in each person's letter. Use sequential words when putting these events in order. So when we talk about Jackson McTavish, you're going to look for his letter, and then he gives, these are 3 events, and you have to say what happened first, what happened next, and what happened last. Or you could say, initially this happened, then this happened, and finally this happened. Those sequential words, if you get stuck on them, use these here to help you. That's what they're there for, okay? And that'll go on all 3. So you'll write those in order in this box here. And you'll do that for each and every one. Once you are finished with that, I would encourage you to grab some water and double check your work, and we'll go from there. Cool. Thanks, guys and girls.